Hi, everyone. This is Allison Chavez coming at you. Today, I am really excited to spend some time with a colleague and a personal friend, Natalie Klun. We're going to be talking a little bit about Bank Code today and some really cool things that she is up to. And I wanted to introduce you to her to make that fantastic connection. Let me tell you why Natalie is so amazing. Natalie Klun is a 20-year sales professional in real estate sales. She's a real estate sales professional, specialist. I'm so excited to talk to you. I'm just like stumbling all over your bio, Natalie. I'm just ready to get into this interview. She actually owns and operates a real estate and property management company in Utah, and she's a licensed and certified bank trainer. She's also an author. She's the author of Taking the Sell Out of Sales. And like I said, we're going to spend some time talking about Bank Code. I know I've introduced you to it a little bit over the last few months, but I really want everybody to just get a broader view about what Bank Code is about and really the difference it can make in your life. And Natalie has just been living, breathing Bank Code for the last few years. And I thought, oh, I want to spend some time with you. So Natalie, thanks so much for being here today.
Absolutely. First of all, excited to be here. I'm excited to get to see you. You know, we don't get to see each other very often. We get to talk, but to see your face is always good. And I'm excited to share with you my experience with Bank so far.
Awesome. So you know what? Let's just jump right into it. Tell us your experience with Bank Code. How did you find it, and what has been your experience with it so far?
Okay. So like a lot of sales professionals, I spent a good part of my career trying to find that tool or technique that would make me feel comfortable in being a salesperson, right? You know, in sales, we subject ourselves to cold calling and prospecting and all of these ways that we build our business. And I'm going to be honest, it was something that I really struggled with. And throughout the course of my career, I was always trying to find something to help really ease that pain because it's such an important part of building a business. And the book that I wrote, Taking the Sell Out of Sales, was inspired by a moment that I had at prospecting school, which is a school they go and they put you on the phone and they have someone kind of hover the room and they come and listen in and critique you and tell you what to do. It was probably one of the most traumatizing experiences I've felt professional.
I'll bet. It sounds like no fun at all, actually.
Yeah, it wasn't. And one of the coaches really took a particular interest in me because he could tell that I just didn't want to be there. And I was kind of fluffing my way through the day. And he called me out on it. And when he called me out on it, you know, at first I was a little irritated, but then he said something that stuck with me that it completely changed the way that I looked at my business and looked at the tools that I used in my business. And he said, look, you're overcomplicating it. You are here to help people, and you just happen to help people within real estate. And there was something about that when he said that, it was like I had this light bulb moment. And I was like, you know what, you're right. I do like to help people. And the reason why I am in business is to help people. So I took that, I went back to the phones, my energy shifted, and I just started making appointments. And when I would get people on the phone who were a little irritated by the call, I would just say, hey, look, I'm here to help you. And then after that, they were, you know, it was like the walls kind of came down. And literally when I just set the intention of helping people in my business, and that was the only thing that I focused on, my business tripled that following year. And I wrote an entire book about it. And it's about using ourselves and our businesses as a platform to help other people. It's really that simple. We tend to overcomplicate it by interjecting ourselves into the equation and being nervous, or how do I sound, or how do I look? Did I say this right? Did I do this? Whatever, you know?
Yep.
And so that's how the book was born. Now, the book is very mindset focused. How do you get your mindset around what it means to be a salesperson, what it means to be comfortable as a salesperson, and what it means to really use your business as a platform to serve others, and that we all have different skills, tools, and knowledge to be able to do so. And how can we best serve our communities and those that are beneficiaries of our service, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking for something to complement the mindset. I needed an empowerment tool. I needed a tool that you could take your new mindset, put it to work, and then have an increase in confidence and sales ability and, of course, in business. And that's how I came across Bank. And what I love about bank is there is no better way to serve our customers and our clients and those in our community than to truly learn the language that they speak, the values that are important to them. What things do they consider when making a buying decision? And then base it off of that. Because most salespeople, we have a tendency to come from our perspective. We have a tendency to sell from our point of view, which results in us forgetting that there are 3 other personalities and we're not connecting with them because we're not speaking their language. So to me, when I met Sherry and when I was introduced to bank, I said, this is it, because this is the way that we can truly serve on a high level, is to take the time to learn the language, have the tools to be able to determine which language they speak, and then create our presentations, our communication, our scripts, our marketing, all of that specific to what is important to our customers versus making it about us, because we have a habit of making it about us, right?
Very true. What's the number one topic that is the most fascinating to us? Ourselves.
Do that in business too.
Yep, absolutely. You know, and I really love and appreciate that, because I had that very similar experience as well when I was introduced to bank code. It was like, oh my word, the missing piece. Oh, that's why all my clients are just like me, because I'm talking to my same bank code, and that's why I have such a great bond with them, and that's why others are not, because I'm not speaking to them. And I thought, this is brilliant, this is genius for business, but it's been amazing to me how it spilled over into my relationships as well. And
yeah,
that's been mind blowing.
Isn't it amazing that when we learn how to communicate to people that aren't similar to ourselves, that it begins to shift, or we begin to look at people from a different perspective?
Yes.
And their differences no longer are upsetting. You begin to kind of embrace them and be like, oh, and you identify the personality. It makes life so much easier. Yes.
Yeah, and so no longer am I coming from a place of irritation or judgment because my kids are doing something that I'm like, what? Oh, this is their code. They're speaking. Okay. All right. I'm just going to take a breath. We're just going to laugh. I'm going to honor this in you and honor mine and me. And so oh my word, it's been wonderful.
It's truly life changing. Like, I know we talk a lot about how it applies to business and how it applies in that respect. But for me, when I really began to dive into the methodology, because to be quite honest with you, when I was introduced to it, I said, I want to be able to help with the mission in getting this out into the world, because not only do I need it personally, but my business needs it. My industry needs it. The real estate industry is one of the most competitive industries. And here we are dealing with the largest investment that most people are going to make. We're dealing with the place that people call home, and we're dealing with the place that is one of 3 human necessities, which is shelter. And there's so many emotions tied into that industry in itself, because then you bring in the financing side of it. You're dealing with people's money, their savings, their credit. So the very best thing we can do as real estate professionals is to understand the values and what is important to them to best serve them. So I'm like, I have to bring this to my industry, but also, in communication in general, I think of like relationships. I think of how, kids, if you bring this into schools, if teachers were to understand, the different personalities, would your kids' education shift? Would kids become more compassionate with one another because they now understand their differences? I mean, it really is one of those things that can change the world.
No, absolutely. It absolutely is. Now you've talked a little bit about the real estate profession and how bank has impacted that. Is it just for realtors? Is it just for that industry?
No, it's for everybody. I mean, sales is very general in the sense I specify the real estate industry just because that's the background that I come from, and that's the industry that I'm wanting to bring it to. But honestly, it flows into pretty much communication. If you're communicating with somebody, whether in business or in relationships, that's how you can apply this. This is a life skill. This is a tool that will enhance not only your business, but will enhance your relationships and will enhance your life. So it's very general. In fact, when bank, they had a company do a study to narrow down which market or which demographic bank was best suited for. And this company came back and they said, out of the entire history of our organization, we can't identify your market because it literally applies to everyone. This is about being human and being human beings and connecting with each other in a way that we haven't, right? Like we get so caught up in, everything. I mean, we're living in a world where we're inundated 24/7 with information, and we've dehumanized a lot of our ways that we connect and communicate with each other. I mean, we have great advancements in ways of communicating and connecting with one another, but sometimes people get a little brave behind the computer screen or the phone or whatever, and they forget that on the other end of that is a human being. It's all about connecting and communicating and understanding why we're different, why something may be important to you where it may not be as important to me, but that doesn't change its importance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So tell us a little bit about bank. Like, what makes it different from other like personality assessments and other things that are out there? What sets it apart?
Right. So what makes bank different, and this is one of the things that I absolutely love about bank, is that it takes the concept of personality science. Now, personality science is not a new concept. It dates back, 2000 or so years ago, where the father of medicine coined the theory of the four temperaments, and he used it in his medical practice to treat patients differently. So it's scientifically proven that as the human race, we are all divided up into one of four categories. Now, there are a lot of personality programs out there, a lot of personality assessments. Most of us have taken them. Really fascinating because they teach us a lot about who, ourselves. We're all fascinated with ourselves. But what they don't do is they don't teach you about your customer. They don't teach you how to connect with the other three personalities. So what bank has done is they have re-engineered or reverse engineered the concept of personality assessment, and it teaches you from the perspective of all of the personalities to be able to identify and understand all four personalities. So you're able to have the tools or the communication or the presentations, those sorts of things, to be able to speak the language of the other personalities. And I use language a lot because that was the analogy that really brought it home for me. We speak one particular language, and like you said, a lot of your customers or clients are like you because they're resonating and you're speaking their language, right? Mm-hmm. You go out, you learn a second, a third, and a fourth language. All of a sudden, the group of people that you can speak to, that you can connect with, expands dramatically. So I love the analogy of language when it comes to really understanding what it means to take bank and apply it to your life and your business.
Yeah, me too. So tell us what bank stands for.
So bank is an acronym of the four personality types that they've identified within their system. So bank, B stands for blueprint. So the blueprint personality, this is going to be the personality that tends to be more inside the box. Then A stands for action. So the action personality is the personality that's outside of the box, right? They're going to be like, don't put me in a box, right? And N stands for nurturing. So the nurturing personality, so think about it, if the blueprint's inside the box, the action is outside of the box, what do you think the nurturing personality may be doing with the box? Maybe recycling it or gift wrapping it, right?
Repurposing it, yes.
And then K stands for knowledge. So the knowledge personality. So if the blueprints inside the box, actions outside of the box, our nurturers are recycling the box, the K's are maybe engineering or designing or developing the box. And all four personalities have very distinct different values. Like that's why there's the greatest mistake that's made in sales is speaking from our perspective and not considering personality science, which means we're delivering the wrong presentation or the wrong script 3 out of 4 times. So 75% of the time we're missing the mark, which means we're building our competition's business 3 times faster than our own, because if they're not connecting with us, they're connecting with someone else who most likely is speaking their language, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's so fascinating to me. When I learned this, I understood, like you said, light bulbs, like they just flashed everywhere, and it was so incredible to me. And what I love is that most personality assessments will put you in one place. You're one color with maybe you have a secondary color, or you're one animal, or whatever assessment that you're taking. But with Bank Code, you have all of the codes as part of your code, but you have a dominant code that you live in and that you speak to, and your perspective and the way that you view the world and what's important to you. And that was just it was amazing to me and really encouraging to me, because I'll tell you right now, knowledge is the lowest part of my code. Like the very lowest part. And I have 2 children where that's their highest code.
Wow.
I couldn't figure out why my whole life I could not connect with my 16-year-old. Like, since he could talk, what is the deal? And when I learned the different bank codes, because my top one is nurturing, and they're like to hug, and they like to touch, and they like, and knowledge are like, yeah, let's be logical here and not get over emotional about anything. and I couldn't. Once I realized what was going on, it repaired that relationship in no time at all. And it's been fabulous. And to understand where my clients are coming from and their perspective, and to be able to honor that and value that, and then speak into that language while I'm with them, it's remarkable. It's so fun. I could talk bank all day long because I love it so much.
It really is life-changing, and I love to hear how it changes the relationship with your kids, because I mean, you think about how many kids are being just misunderstood. Their personality is just different. It doesn't mean anything's wrong with them, and as a nurturing personality, yeah, you're wanting to, like you said, hug and talk it out and work it out. And that's like literally the last thing a knowledge personality wants to do. Mm-hmm. So if without this understanding, there's going to be that conflict there, or that disconnect. And now you're able to connect on a way that is meaningful to him and to you. And then that's how your relationship really begins to evolve.
Absolutely. And the thing that's been the most miraculous to me is that I went home and I taught my kids this, because I was so fired up by it. And so I cracked all of their codes. I had them crack their codes. I taught them what my code was and what that all meant. And my sons, who are the knowledge personality types, will now actually come up and like initiate hugs with me.
Aww,
and instead of just the, oh, thanks, Mom. No, can we go away? Like, he'll come up and he'll hug me, and then he's like, okay, now we're done. But I think that helped them to see where I was coming from as well, just on a really natural level. As they saw me trying to honor them, I think they just stepped into looking to honor me as well, and what was valuable to me, and that connection for nurture is so important to me. So it's amazing. What have you had some really cool experiences with clients or with prospective clients that Bank Code has come in and really just like shifted the conversation, or really just, help you have a completely different experience with them even from the get-go?
Oh, 100%. The first thing that I did, the same thing. I went in and I cracked my family's code, and I really was able to understand, like, it completely shifted my relationship with my parents, because, for example, my parents are both blueprint personalities. I'm an action personality, right? So my whole life, if only I would have learned this when I was a teenager, right? So that was the first thing I did. And then the next thing I did is I took it within my company and I cracked the personality code of my team. And it really changed the perspective on how I empower my team to work at the highest and most efficient level possible. And then also to make it to where they enjoy what they do, right? Because a lot of times we get put in positions that we struggle in, or we have a hard time with, because it's just not what calls to us. So I was able to crack the code of my team. I now sit down with them individually and really look at how can we make them the most effective based on their personality code. And one of my favorite stories, one of the agents in my office, I did the same thing that you did. I went in and I was teaching everybody what I had just learned, and I did a team training. And one of the agents left the training a little bit early because she had a listing appointment. And she had confided in me earlier. She goes, I don't even know if I should go to this appointment. I'm having a really hard time getting a read on this person. I don't know if she likes me, if she doesn't like me, if I'm going to waste my time. And she said, as soon as I got to this appointment, I realized that she was a blueprint personality. So she was able to shift her presentation, because it's really easy to begin to apply this. I mean, you can start to apply it as soon as you start learning it, because it literally changes the way you think and communicate in general. And she was able to get the listing appointment. And the client canceled all the other appointments she had with all the other agents. And she said, this is the first time that someone has really been able to explain to me how this is going to work to where I feel comfortable. So, and that listing resulted in, thousands of dollars worth of income. So it was, I love to just see when people take it, first of all, when the light bulb clicks, when they start to see it. And I speak a lot. I go and do a lot of trainings and different events. Like we have one coming up here in Salt Lake City in a couple of weeks. And I love the light bulb moment that you see when people are like, oh my gosh, like this is huge.
Yeah.
And so I just, I've applied it into every aspect of my life.
Now, you just mentioned something I'm so excited about, which leads perfectly into my next question I want you to spend some time on, is you are putting together an amazing one-day event in downtown Salt Lake City, and it's called Sales Summit 3.0. Will you take your time and tell us what it's all about, what we can expect, what's going to happen, all of that, so people get a really good idea about what it's all about?
Yes. First of all, I'm super excited that Salt Lake City is one of 3 cities that Sales Summit is going to be happening. And what makes Sales Summit exciting is we've actually got the founder and creator of Bank herself, Miss Sherry Tree, as our special guest. And why I'm so excited that she has made this commitment is Sherry, because of this life-changing methodology that she's created, and thankfully she opted to not keep it to herself, but she's sharing it with the world. She is a very busy individual, and she travels all over the world teaching and training bank. And she's working with institutions such as the University of California, which is the largest university infrastructure in the world. Those are the types of places that she's spending time. So the fact that she's said, yes, I'll come and spend a day in Salt Lake City makes me so excited. And Sherry's story about how she created Bank is really phenomenal. As a lot of salespeople, she was struggling to figure out how to get her business off the ground. And she spent a lot of time, after only making $700 in her first year, spent a lot of time learning as much as she could about sales and business in general. And over a 5-year period, she applied that, but only was able to increase her income up to $72,000. And she's like, when I study sales, I'm only getting ordinary results. I don't want ordinary results. I want extraordinary results, right? And that's when she started to look at people, and why do people do what they do, and why do they make the decisions that they make? And in the first year of creating Bank and applying it to her own personal business, her sales went up 695%, making over $500,000. By year 3, 1,388%, making over $1 million. And to me, when I want to do something, so let's say I want to go out and I want to learn how to make $1 million, right? It makes a lot more sense to follow in the footsteps of someone who's been there and done that, right? Instead of trying to figure it out on our own. So here we have someone who's created this life-changing methodology, this life-changing system. She's coming to Salt Lake City. She's going to spend a day with us, and she's going to be teaching and training Bank. Now, this training, if you were to just pay and come to this training, first of all, it's hard to get access to have training from Sherry directly, but you're spending close to $1,000 just for the day for this particular training. And we're offering tickets for $47. So we want this to be a high value training opportunity to introduce Bank to the Salt Lake City market, to the professionals, to the business owners, to those who want to enhance their relationship in Salt Lake City. If you want to come VIP, we do have VIP tickets there at $97. But our whole objective and our whole goal is to just launch this life-changing, game-changing method into an area that is really well known. Like business in Utah is going like gangbusters, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited that Sherry has agreed to come, and will she be able to come back? I don't know, but for now we got her. She's coming on the 31st of January, so it's a Tuesday. We're going to start, registration starts about 8. We're going to start the workshop at 9. Can take a lunch break around 12. We're in a great area, lots of nice places to walk and grab a bite to eat, enjoy the probably cold, snowy. Utah has the reputation of the greatest snow on earth, right?
We're living up to it.
Right. Then we'll wrap around 3 o'clock that day. But yeah, this is a great opportunity to come and to learn from someone who has created something pretty phenomenal. She's shared bank in institutions such as Harvard, UC Berkeley. She's shared the stage with speakers such as Robert Kiyosaki, Sir Richard Branson. So this is a great opportunity to come and learn from someone who has literally cracked the code to increasing sales and be able to learn from the master herself.
Absolutely. And for those people who haven't met Sherry, you're probably thinking, okay, well, big deal. But I mean, you spend 5 minutes with this woman and she just blows your mind, because she's a high action, but she's also a high nurturer. She's pretty high in most of the codes. Blueprint, she says, is her lowest. And but her authenticity and her genuine interest in you as a person comes through instantly. And that was the thing that most impressed me about her when I first met her, was that she came right up to me and and she remembered things about me. And not in the first meeting, of course, but after we had talked for a little bit. But I mean, we would go for months, and she was like, oh, how did this happen with your husband? And oh, didn't you have an anniversary? And I was like, whoa, you remember and you actually care. I mean, she is an absolutely phenomenal woman, and top of her game in sales, top of her game in communication and relationships, and so fun, so charismatic. I mean, even if you get nothing else than just being highly entertained for the day, but you're going to get so much more than that. Really, if you're looking for answers, you have found it in Sales Summit 3.0 with Sherry Tree coming to deliver that message on the 31st of January. So, my gosh, this has gone so quickly, and we have to wrap up, even though I'm really not wanting to, but there are some links that are included just under this video where you can go ahead and get registered. You can get some more information about Bank Code as well. Is there anything that you would like to share with us before we say goodbye?
I'm just excited. I'm excited about this time with you, and I'm excited for anyone who decides to join us. Sherry's going to be there. I'll be there. Allison's going to
be there.
Yay. And just take advantage of this opportunity. Like I said, $47 to come and learn a game-changing methodology that was scientifically proven to predict buying behavior and to increase sales up to 300%. I can promise you this. You will leave the event. You will never look at sales, business, relationships, communication the same way ever again, and it'll be for the better.
Absolutely. I will raise my hand to that and give my second witness to that as well. So yeah, come and see us. I'm a nurturer. I'll give you a hug. Natalie's in action. She'll give you a high five. Blueprint will shake your hand. Yeah, come up and say hi to us. We would love to see you there and see how we can help you to learn this and to really just blow the lid open. And like Sherry loves to say, take it to the bank. Yep. So we will see you in just a few weeks, Natalie. And again, we hope to see you there as well. And click those links below to register and to get some more information on Bank if you're looking for it. Thanks again, Natalie. You're beautiful and I love you.
Oh, I love you too. Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.